What would you become if everything was taken from you? He didn't choose the chains. He didn't choose the beatings. He was priced, inspected, and sold. But Epictetus chose how to respond to all of it. And that changed everything. He was born into slavery in Hierapolis, Asia Minor, what we now call Turkey. His master was cruel. Some say Epictetus walked with a limp because his leg was broken during torture. But he never screamed. He never begged. He observed the pain like watching rain through a window, cold, constant, hitting the body, but never touching the soul. He had no freedom, no wealth, no rights. He couldn't own property. He couldn't marry. He couldn't even own his name. But on the inside, he was free. Freer than emperors, freer than the men who owned him. Because Epictetus had mastered the only battlefield that matters, the inner world. There were days he went hungry, nights he slept on stone floors, years he was silenced, overlooked, forgotten. Yet in every moment he was watching, learning, training his mind to separate what is from what is not up to him. His master allowed him to attend philosophy lectures in Rome. In Musonius Rufus's classroom, noble sons fidgeted in boredom, but the chained student absorbed every word. There, in the cold halls of Stoic thought, he found a spark, a clarity forged sharper than any whip. He practiced that weapon daily, testing every thought, interrogating every instinct. When anger rises, he told his students later, pause, judge it, then decide whether the flame deserves your fuel. He understood. Pain is real, but suffering is a decision. We don't control what strikes us, only how we stand when it does. You may chain my body, he once said, but my mind will remain untouched. And it did. When Nero banished all philosophers from Rome, Epictetus didn't collapse. He didn't complain. He went to Greece, no coins, no titles, just discipline. While others vanished into obscurity, he rose into clarity. He began teaching in a small school, attracting men from all over the empire, sons of senators, soldiers scarred by war, merchants burdened by gold. All came to hear a former slave speak of true freedom. Why did they come? Because they saw something rare in him, a man who had every reason to hate, to break, to fall apart, but chose stillness. A man who had no possessions, but walked like a king of himself. He didn't write books. What we know comes from his student, Arian, who listened carefully and recorded his words. And what we hear in them is silence. A silence that didn't mean weakness. It meant control. Epictetus taught that true freedom is mastery over reaction, that no man can harm you unless you let him, that the only real chains are the ones we place on our own minds. He said, it's not things that disturb us, but our judgment about things. He believed that nothing external could touch the soul unless you open the gate yourself. Not insults, not illness, not even death. Imagine that. A slave standing before free men, telling them, you are more imprisoned than I am. And he meant it. Because while others feared loss, he embraced it. While others ran from pain, he sat with it. While others tried to control the world, he learned to control himself. And that was the greatest rebellion of all. He died in peace, no gold, no tomb, but his teachings survived every empire, every fire, every silence, because truth doesn't need monuments. It survives in silence. It echoes in discipline. It returns when the noise fades, reminding each that the gate of the mind is theirs alone. And Epictetus gave us that voice, not from a throne, but from chains. What enslaves you? What makes you flinch, rage, collapse? You may never wear shackles, but what thoughts hold you down? Epictetus proved something no conqueror ever could, that a man without freedom can still be unbreakable if he governs the only kingdom that truly matters, his mind. Freedom is the only worthy goal in life, he said. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control. He was never truly free in the eyes of Rome, but in the eyes of the wise, Epictetus remains one of the freest men who ever lived. Not because he changed the world, but because he mastered the only world that matters.